And so when you're in a state of fight or flight, it is almost impossible to come into rational thought. And that's what we're seeing with a lot of people who are in a state of fight or flight. And so when there's like some, the rational thought lives in the prefrontal cortex of the brain. And sorry, I'm just going to manage the sound here. Okay. And so with fight or flight, we're in the amygdala. Our amygdala is activated. And so when we're in that fight or flight, there is an irrational thought, because the amygdala's job is to keep us safe, is to keep us, from getting attacked and so it's, the fear. And so what we're seeing happening is, whoever you want to perceive of this, these controllers, right, are keeping us in a perpetual, or keeping someone in a perpetual state of fear or division or anger or whatever you want to call it. And so, another thing is that for me, it's been, it's certain people in my life that I am really trying to understand how they are still buying into all this, right? And it's easier said than done, but it's like rising above and trying to have empathy and compassion, understanding. And what comes up in the Akashic records is just be patient with them. Try to just allow them to go through this experience that they're having, which is in this, in this state of, fight or flight, in this reptilian brain, this reptilian consciousness, knowing that when you try to connect with somebody and share, like, here's this thing, here's another piece of evidence, here's this. And if somebody's coming from that reptilian brain in that state of fight or flight, they are not going to be able to hear it. And that's because they're not operating in their prefrontal cortex. They're not in rational thought. So it's really, it's like, if we can try to understand this, it helps me at least, and hopefully you too, come to a state of understanding, compassion for them, knowing that we've all been victimized by this thing. We've all been, in the programming. So, that's why, like, you share some link or some article or video, and people it just goes, they don't believe it, or they just can't, it doesn't resonate, because there is literally something happening in their brain that rejects it. It's not even a conscious decision they're making. So, it's I just lost what I was going to say, but so no matter what, here's the other thing I was gonna say. Okay, so it has to do with the programming, that when people are taught to believe that their government, right, or these authority figures are the ones that we should trust, and that they're the ones that we do what they say, right? We listen to them, we trust them. We were taught this all starting through public school. They will tell you what you're supposed to believe and what you're supposed to think. I used to do this. I used to read the newspaper. Tell me what's happening in the world. Oh, there's that happening, and tell me how I'm supposed to feel about it. Who's right, who's wrong? They would tell me how I'm supposed to feel about it. And then I would be like, okay, thank you for telling me. Now I'm going to go on with my day, and that's my opinion. That's how I'm going to talk about this thing, is based on what the newspaper told me I'm supposed to believe about it. So I remember what that used to be like for me. And I think it's important for us to try to really hold compassion for people who are still in that state. So for me and my certain family members, let me just say, what I've been receiving guidance around, I just talked about this in Soul Forward community, is to, instead of trying to like explain or rationalize with them, knowing that it's not going to connect for them, because as long as they're believing the narrative, which by the way is very difficult for people not to do, because if you're telling me I shouldn't trust these authority figures who I've been trained my whole life to trust, and I put that's how I feel safe, then it is life shattering for them to just, and a lot of us went through this awakening. I did about 6 years ago, and it was life shattering for me to kind of see, oh, wait a second, this is not what I thought it was. But just imagine what's happening to some people now, and how it's very, very difficult. It's like the world being pulled out from under you to think that these people are not telling you the truth. So it's almost impossible for many people to do that. So as long as they're listening to what these authority figures are telling them to do, when they're in this state of fight or flight, they're just going to do like what they tell them to do. So, you know, we can get angry about it. I've certainly been through there. We can get frustrated with them. But if we think of it as like, I wouldn't be frustrated with somebody, if I was a teacher in a classroom, I wouldn't like yell at the students for not understanding the concept or for just not doing it right. I would just try to be patient with them. I would try to just have compassion for them and do the best I can to help them learn and grow. And that is absolutely, that may sound condescending, but that is absolutely the message that comes up in the Akashic records when dealing with people who are in, you know, in our family. A lot of it's our family members, some of it's our friends, some of it's coworkers who are in that place. And the message is be patient with them, be patient. They have to go through this. This is their own process of soul growth. People are awakening, they one by one, not everybody. And so the last thing I'll say before we shift into the meditation is with what I've received guidance around is how to connect with people who see the world very differently than I do, like literally opposite, is to try to talk with them about things that we have in common, to not kind of talk about the things that we don't see eye to eye on, but talk about what we have in common and try to be kind to them and try to just be loving to them, because people, they will remember how that we make them feel. And so there's this cognitive dissonance going on, right? They're being told all these people who don't believe in this, or they're the problems, the anti-vaxxers, the anti-maskers, whatever. They're the ones that are the problem. That's what they're being told. But when they see somebody who's kind, who's loving, who's, you know, not yelling and not, you know, calling them names, it's like, wait a second, that's not true. That person isn't like that. And so it helps them start to understand and see things in a different way. Because humans are not rational beings. We are irrational beings by our nature, and we go by our feelings. So hopefully that will be helpful. However, having said all that, there is a timeline split happening, and that it is a real thing. You know, I remember thinking this, like, oh man, am I going to have to like say, you know, not see certain people in my life anymore? And it is happening that way, that there are people who are moving towards 5D and expanding in their consciousness, and others who are not at the same place. And it doesn't mean they're not going to, but it just, they're not at the same place. And so we've seen that happen. It feels like, you know, it feels like we can get angry at them. Oh, they just, you know, they won't let me come in. Of course, we're seeing some of that now. You're not being invited to things, or, you know, being told you're supposed to be rejected, you know, kicked out of society, which is the agenda, right? Divide and distract. But when we can come from this place of just being, you know, strong in our light, grounded. I hugged a tree today, and the message from the tree was stand your ground, stand your ground. And coming from that place of just centeredness and light, like a pillar of light in our bodies. And it's like, we're loving, we're compassionate, we're kind. And it's also like, I'm not participating in that 3D chaos, in that 3D dysfunction. Here's my boundary. Here's my sovereignty. And I love you very much. And I'm here, and I'm not going to get sucked in to that vibration, to that chaos. And so that is where the letting go comes in, because it can feel, I mean, there's this real separation happening, and there's a lot of grief involved in that. And it doesn't mean, I don't believe it means that we're like never going to see people again, but it does mean that we may just, you know, maybe some people are going to start to wake up more and, you know, kind of move across that rainbow bridge towards fifth dimensional consciousness, and some people won't, and in this lifetime at least. And but what I've been doing, at least, and I know a lot of you are doing, is meeting, you know, connecting with new soul family, new friends, like aligned people. And I always ask just to be guided to them. And it's just amazing what can happen. It is a letting go, though, and not of attachments to the way I want things to be the way they used to be. And, you know, this, and knowing, especially with family members, that there's a lot of stuff that can get wrapped up, you know, like, oh, this person said that, and then we get triggered, and oh, it's about this thing that they did before. And so it's not just about what's happening. It's about all the childhood stuff. It's about the limiting beliefs, the resentments, the grudges, and all that. And that's where it's essential that we do our work around that and really try to heal our wounded inner child, separate from the attachments, the codependencies, the whatever it is we've often from parents, right? Things we've learned and acquired, and habits and beliefs and behaviors that are not who we are, that are the ego. And then we're much more able to stand strong in our light and not allow somebody to, bring in some people who are, in that 3D chaos. They're doing what they know, which is tools of manipulation and guilt and, just real like weird stuff, right? Like weird stuff that is really yucky. But when, when we can just be like, okay, I see what's happening, and we have that, they come into our higher self, rise above. It's like, I see what's happening, but I'm not going to get angry at them. Maybe we do get angry, but I literally just went through this today of just coming back, going outside, breathing, quieting the mind, coming into that place of light. If there's any trigger, working through that trigger. I'm a big fan of writing and doing meditations, kind of separate from the triggers, but then we're not attached to it. And then we're not like, then the strings or the old codependent patterns that people in our life, usually family members, would use as tactics, their own, coping mechanisms of their own wounded inner child, they don't work anymore because we have cut those cords and we're in this place of light. And so it helped. And it's not just saying, oh, I don't want you in my life anymore. Goodbye, kick them to the curb. It's just saying, it's helping them because it's an unconscious, addictive behavior, really, that these people are engaged in. And when we're cutting those cords and we're coming from light, that it removes that. So, okay. So let's do meditation, because I think that would be helpful at this point. All right. So let's close our eyes and take a deep breath in. And a slow exhale. Another deep, full breath in, breathing in so much light, peace, healing. And then just slowly let it out. Let your body begin to relax. Grounding in. Another deep breath, breathing into the belly, bringing a wave of air into your upper body, and pause. And then slowly let the belly sink into the spine, let your shoulders drop, let your hands relax, fully exhale. So just take a moment to observe the movement of your breath as it flows naturally now. Observe if there's any feelings, thoughts, judgments that are popping up like weeds. Just observe if there's any of that popping up, and imagine that there's this, maybe it's some kind of giant gardening tool or like a creature that just will go down through your body and just pull out all those weeds from the root. Just getting rid of those thoughts. Maybe it's light. And feeling this openness as all the roots are being pulled out, those weeds are just being yanked out of your body. And then there's space. And your breath can flow. So just feel your breath circulating through your body, your belly's rising and falling. Imagine the breath flowing through your limbs, through your heart, through your stomach, through your neck, your shoulders, all the way through your head and mind. Just cleansing and clearing everything it touches. And feel this light getting stronger, as if somebody's turning up the dial And the light is coming in through the top of your head, through your heart, as if you're just being showered with light. It's spilling out through your hands and feet into your aura. And it's almost as if you are your own personal sun. And at the core is your heart, the place where that fire is generated. You feel this light flowing out from your body and into the space a few feet, maybe even more than a few feet, out into the room, maybe even beyond this room you're in. Your light is so strong. Like the sun, anything that is not of pure light, that is based in low vibrational stuff, fear, anger, guilt, shame, codependency, manipulation, oppression, judgment. Any of these feelings or behaviors or patterns or vibrations, resentment, all that stuff, jealousy. It begins in the past. It may have come in, you may have allowed it in, you may have invited it into your body with simply just your intention, and that vibration was matching with a vibration in your body. But now, with this light, with the energy of Archangel Michael, with the Christed self, with the highest, most divine light of the I Am presence of Source, any of those low vibrational things coming from other humans, coming from the media, coming from authority figures, politicians, any of those, it's just burned off way far away from you. It doesn't even get close to your body because you are pure, white, crystalline, brilliant light. Let's just feel this power. This is your power center. Just allow this power as if you are the sun. Allow yourself to just be bathed in this for a few minutes. Breathing it up and down through your body. Where your power center in your heart, this brilliant core of pure light, the most powerful light you can imagine, flowing in your body and really being amplified in your heart. Feel that energy. Now I'd like you to imagine that as we move in the 3D world, interacting with other humans, maybe it's family members or friends, coworkers, or just anybody who may not be in this similar vibration as you are yet. And they may be projecting vibrations unconsciously of fear-based attachments and codependencies and behaviors and beliefs like that we're seeing in the narrative of the media and governments right now. I'd like you to imagine that stuff, and it comes out through the mouths of loved ones, it comes out through things we might read or hear about. It is approaching you, but now as they come close to you, they are just instantly disintegrated, dissolved, burned away by this light. And while this is happening, any of the cords of codependency, of attachment, of anything in a low vibration that are still in your body, that are maybe even something that you want there, that you've wanted there subconsciously, that these are now being removed. They're being pulled out. They're being burned out, somehow sucked, removed, released, completely cleared from your body, being pulled out at the root from your end and from the end closest to that person or that entity or institution. As close as you can get, that cord is also being cut, knowing that person has free will to do what they choose with their own cord, but as close as you can get to where it affects your sovereignty, cutting that cord as well. So just take a moment to feel this clearing. And as this is cleared, feel that light beginning to heal up those places where those cords were here, healing up the holes, filling them in with love, with sovereignty, with strength, with any other high vibration emotion, confidence, compassion, joy, clear boundaries. Feel them being healed with light, with those colors, and feel the smooth surface of your body, your physical body, your light body, your etheric body, smooth, like glass. All of any leaks and holes now being completely sealed with this crystalline light. Take a deep breath. Bring your hands to your heart center. Just giving thanks for this space, for this energy, for this healing, for this cord cutting. Know that there may be more cords, there may be grief, there may be sadness, there may be any other feelings that come up as you release these attachments. And in the coming hours, days, weeks, allow yourself to feel the feeling, allow the emotions to be released. Write, cry, move your body, whatever you can do, lie on the earth to help you release those emotions. So we're giving gratitude here with our hands in prayer position. We thank at this time all the divine angels, guides, sources of pure love and light who've been with us, supporting us to step into our sovereignty, to fully embody the light that is that which we are. We ask for your guidance, for your encouragement, for your protection, for your love and healing to be with us in this moment, in the coming days, weeks, and months and years, as we embody the light of the fifth dimensional consciousness of the new earth in service to humanity and to the planet. May it be so, and so it is. So take a deep breath here, coming back into your body, stretching out, just feel your light now coming a little bit closer to you, wrapping that light around you like a nice warm blanket. You can even touch the top of your head, touch your body, like giving yourself a nice hug on your arms as you're sealing in your aura, feeling your energies closed up a little bit. And then stretching out, coming back into your body, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So I hope that was helpful in some way. There's a lot, probably more that can be done to you continue cutting the cords. I have a handout that I give to my clients sometimes called Healing Relationships, which is really just coming into empathy and understanding of how to work with other people and to, understand how they're doing, how they're feeling, and how they're processing things. And that really builds empathy. So maybe I'll post it here in this Souls Gathering Together group. And if you're not in Souls Gathering Together on Zoom, join Souls Gathering Together. I'll put it in the Soulful Work community too. So, all right. Hopefully this was helpful. It was lovely to see you all. Thanks. Yes. Thanks to those of you for the comments. I love that. And Julie, by the way, I shared your Palladian Agenda book. I've shared that you gave me in our Soulful Work community gathering. So, yeah. Quick little thing. There's still a few spots left in the How to Read the Akashic Records class. I'm going to be teaching you, if you wanted to learn how to read the Akashic Records, very powerful source of guidance, wisdom, past lives, soul lessons, purpose. And I'll post it here again. And if you're worried about being able to do it, email me, because some people say, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for it. If you're curious about it, you're ready for it, because that's how the Akashic Records work. So there's the first part of the class will be opening the third eye and really working with spirit and intuition. So, all right. I guess my video keeps, I don't know why, but my screen looks like it's freezing a little bit sometimes. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, thank you all for being here. And yes, thank you. My necklace, this came from the retreat. Cheryl made this for us. And it was from the cacao ceremony. Isn't it absolutely amazing? It's actually supposed to be a crown. No. And I was wearing it as a necklace. I could wear it as a crown, but I told us, like, I'm gonna wear it as a necklace. So everybody, we all have different ones. It's so unbelievably amazing. I'm probably gonna wear it all the time. I just love it. So, all right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. Many blessings. Much love. Bye.